representatives to speak for them. The planning process continues meticulous, each detail pored over with a fine-tooth comb. The castle in its current state looks to be fine, however, without constant attention it will fall into disrepair quickly. The land surrounding it is fertile, fine for agriculture. The nearby villages, with their hard-working folks, will provide the workforce needed to bring these plans to fruition. As the sun reaches its zenith, the Duke and his knights have laid the groundwork for their venture. Their plan is robust, a balance of tradition and innovation. Now they exit the main hall, ready to put the plan into action. They cross the cobblestone courtyard to the steps leading up to the top of the castle gate, with its imposing walls and towering turrets a symbol of the dukedom's strength. The Duke, reaching in the large leather bag on his side, takes out 2 folded banners, handing one to Sir Norwood and the other one to Sir Cadwick, and said, "Now take down the Black Dragon's banners and raise the banners of Gaialand." And as the new banners replace the old flying over the castle gate, the deputies return to the side of the Duke, holding out the Black Dragon's banners to the young Duke. Eberhard, lifting a hand, says, "No, you each keep the banner you removed, as a reward and reminder of what we are replacing. We shall always remember," they pledge to each other and Duke Eberhard. "This lands will be cultivated, the fields sown with wheat and barley, ensuring a steady supply of food. The villagers will be employed, their skills put to good use in building and farming." The day draws to a close, the sun dipping below the horizon, leaving the sky awash with hues of pink and orange. Duke Eberhard, Sir Cadwick and Sir Norwood have done more than just plan. They have sown the seeds of a new beginning, a dukedom that promises prosperity and progress. Their work is far from over, but the foundation has been laid, the first step taken. In the days to come, they will continue to build, to grow, and to strive for the vision they have set forth. This day, marked by the dawn's sun shone in the stable door, will be remembered as the day the Dukedom of Freyland was born. Bathed in the golden glow of dawn, the once desolate town, nestled in the shadow of the foreboding Black Dragon's lair, begins to stir. The once silent streets echo with the rhythmic clatter of horse hooves and the vibrant chatter of townsfolk. A transformation is taking place, a metamorphosis led by none other than the youthful Duke Eberhard and his trusty deputies, Knights Chadwick and Norwood. A mere month ago, this was a place shrouded in fear and uncertainty. Now it's the heart of a thriving dukedom, a testament to the power of leadership and the unyielding spirit of its people. The air is thick with the scent of freshly baked bread, the cobblestone streets are lined with bustling shops, and the laughter of children fills the air. This is Freyland's new capital city, a town reborn under the guiding hands of the Duke and his 2 trusted deputies. Duke Eberhard, a young man of vision and tenacity, has breathed life into this once forsaken town. Together with his deputies, they have turned the tide, transforming despair into hope, stagnation into prosperity. They've rekindled the spark of life in the heart of what once was the Black Dragon's lair. Sir Chadwick, the tactical mastermind, has overseen the strategic layout of the town. He's ensured the seamless integration of the new market district and the efficient use of the surrounding farmland. Each day, the new capital expands, welcoming new residents and businesses, growing in size and vitality under his watchful eye. Then there is Sir Norwood, the heart of the people. His charisma and empathy have fostered a sense of community and camaraderie among the townsfolk. His tireless work has seen the establishment of local guilds and the flourishing of cultural events, nurturing a sense of unity and pride among the residents. Under their collective leadership, the Dukedom of Freyland is blossoming. The once barren farmlands are now lush with crops. The market is a hub of commerce and trade, and the town is a vibrant tapestry of life and activity. The echoes of the past have been replaced with the harmonious hum of a thriving community. In essence, the transformation of Freyland is a testament to the power of leadership and the resilience of its people. Duke Eberhard, Knight Chadwick, and Knight Norwood have not merely rebuilt a town, they have breathed life into a community, instilled hope in its people, and set Freyland on the path to a prosperous future. The town once under the Black Dragon's lair is no longer a place of dread, but a beacon of hope and a symbol of rebirth. It is a shining example of what can be achieved when vision, strategy and empathy converge. And so, the tale of the town's transformation into a capital and a dragon's lair to a dukedom continues, a testament to the power of leadership, the resilience of its people, and the indomitable spirit of Freyland. The dawn of a new era has begun under the watchful eyes of Duke Eberhard, Sir Chadwick, and Sir Norwood. And as the sun sets on another day, a messenger arrived at the castle gate. After a 5-hour hike from a village 12 miles to the west, being led into the great hall, the man lowers his head, saying, "My Duke, I have come from Tybrook with this plea, for your protection. We were attacked while taking our midday meal by a raiding party of bandits who roam the mountainous region on the border." While he was yet speaking another and another, until 10 men were standing in the hall with similar messages. So standing and in a determined voice, Duke Eberhard said, "These transgressions shall not go unpunished, and your villages will be protected. Go now." As they leave, Eberhard looks to his deputies, saying, "We have a long night ahead of us," as he looks to the large map on the wall. The clock ticks closer to the 6th hour. We find young Duke Eberhard seated at a grand table of black walnut, nestled within the heart of the great hall. To his left, Sir Norwood, a knight of unyielding loyalty, while the wise and aged Sir Chadwick holds court at his right. They are deep in discussion, their minds turning over the progress of their beloved capital city. Freyland New Capital is a testament to their collective will and determination. It stands as a beacon of hope, a symbol of the prosperity that's yet to come. It's a city that promises a future, a place where dreams are born and nurtured, but as they debate and discuss, a sudden interruption breaks the flow of their conversation. A messenger from Tybrook, breathless and weary, is led into the great hall. He bows to his duke, his news is dire. Before he can finish his report, another and another, until 10 men stand before the duke with the news of bandit attacks all around the western district. The tranquility of the moment shatters, replaced by a sense of urgency. The calm deliberation gives way to decisive action. Duke Eberhard, despite his youth, steps up to the challenge. He is, after all, the ruler of Freyland. His people look to him for guidance, for protection. So, after making inquiries of the messengers to gain exact information, he said, "This aggression will not go unpunished. Your villages will be protected. Go." Now, standing in front of the large map, Eberhard and his 2 deputies begin to plan a counter to these mountain bandits. The events that unfold in the Western District are not isolated incidents. They are a symptom of a larger problem, a shadow that lurks in the corners of Freyland. Bandits, lawless and unrestrained, pose a threat to the peace and prosperity of the realm. Duke Eberhard, Sir Norwood and Sir Chadwick must face this challenge head-on. They must devise a plan, a strategy to rid their land of these marauders. The safety of their people, the future of Freyland, depends on their actions. Sir Norwood is the first to speak. "Let us conscribe and train a force. I will lead them into the mountains and track down and destroy the bandits where they live." Eberhard says, "You're right, Freyland's location on the border of Gerland means we need a larger, well-trained force. However, that will take time to accomplish. We do have a castle guard of 100 well-trained men we could send out," after hearing and thinking over the words of Norwood and his duke. Sir Chadwick says, "My duke, you need to show a quick response to these threatening events. However, I think it unwise to leave your castle and capital city without proper protection." Continue Chadwick, the young Eberhard says, "In the grand scheme of things, the events of this day may seem insignificant. However, they are but the first steps in a larger journey. A journey that will shape the destiny of Freyland. The bandit attacks in the Western District, the meetings in the Great Hall, the clear. The realm needs strong leadership, a firm hand to guide it through the challenges that lie ahead. It needs a ruler who can protect his people, ensure their safety, and lead them towards a promising future." And so, as the sun sets over Freyland, Duke Eberhard, Sir Norwood and Sir Chadwick ponder their next move. Their decisions will shape the future realm. Theirs will define the course of this dukedom and the overall history of the kingdom of Gaia-land. And in the heart of it all stands Freyland, a realm of hope,
A land of dreams and challenges, a young duke and his dukedom waiting for destiny to unfold.
If you will, your home under threat from marauders, with only a handful of brave souls standing between you and utter chaos. This was the reality for the Duke Eberhard and his two deputies, Sir Chadwick and Sir Norwood, in the Western District villages. In the beginning, the three noble men were merely trying to maintain peace and prosperity in the dukedom of Freyland. The challenge was no easy feat, as the ever-looming threat of raiders cast a dark shadow over their lands. Yet they were determined not to let the people live in fear. Duke Eberhard, a young man of wisdom and courage, knew that they needed a strategy. He and his two trusted deputies, Sir Chadwick and Sir Norwood, began to devise a plan. Sir Chadwick, known for his tactical acumen, suggested fortifying the villages, transforming them into formidable strongholds, while Sir Norwood, a seasoned warrior, proposed training the villagers to defend themselves. After hearing each of them, Duke Eberhard said, "My friends, as usual, you have not disappointed me. However, Sir Chadwick, the size and scope of your plan will take more time and resources than we can spare at present. The villages already have short stone walls to keep their livestock, and also they have a tall stone storehouse in the centre of their villages. Can you use these to form a defence?" Sir Chadwick smiles, and with a resolute voice, he said, "Always reach for the stars, but accept what you can hold in your hands." With the plan set, the three men got to work, with Sir Chadwick overseeing the fortification of the villages. He ensured that each village had sturdy walls and a lookout post atop the storehouse, creating a solid line of defence against any potential attack. On the other hand, Sir Norwood took on the task of training the villagers, men, women, young and old alike. He taught them how to wield a sword, how to shoot an arrow, and how to stand their ground when faced with an adversary. Whilst Duke Eberhard made sure the villages had the arms to protect themselves. The summer passed, and the fall harvest ended. Then the preparations were put to the test as the raiders finally arrived. The fortified villages held strong against the onslaught, their walls standing firmly and unbroken. The villagers, armed with their newfound skills, stood their ground, fighting with a courage they never knew they possessed. The strategy was a success. The raiders were repelled, their attack thwarted by the combined efforts of Duke Eberhard, Sir Chadwick, Sir Norwood, and the brave villagers. The Western District villages were safe once more, their people free to live without fear. This tale of bravery and strategic planning serves as a testament to the power of unity and preparedness. Duke Eberhard and his deputies, through their foresight and determination, were able to safeguard their homes and their people. Their story is a reminder that when faced with adversity, the key to victory lies not just in strength, but in strategy and unity. So, the next time you find yourself facing a challenge, remember the tale of Duke Eberhard and his deputies. Stand strong, plan wisely, and never underestimate the power of unity. In the heart of arrived, every village, every town, every city in the dukedom of Freyland is alive with merriment. Tybrook, a quaint and charming village nestled in the verdant hills of Freyland, is abuzz with anticipation. For the villagers, the fall harvest celebration is not just a festival, it's a tradition, a moment of unity, testament to their hard work. But this year, the celebration holds a special significance. Suddenly, the mirth is shattered by the thunderous hooves of bandits storming the joyful gathering. Fear not, as the villagers and their knights to be taken by surprise. Rising from the jovial crowd, they arm themselves, ready to defend their beloved hamlet. A fierce battle ensues, the villagers and knights standing brave, fighting the bandits with unyielding spirit. Behind the laughter, the feasting and the joy, a plan was brewing. Duke Eberhard, the noble ruler of Freyland, has joined with Sir Norwood and Sir Chadwick, his two brave deputies known for their valour and wisdom. They have concocted a plan, a trap to catch a group of bandits that have been terrorizing the peaceful villagers. The harvest celebration is their stage, the villagers their unsuspecting audience, and the bandits their unwary prey. As the day of the celebration arrives, the village square of Tybrook is transformed into a spectacle of joy and camaraderie. The air is filled with laughter and music, the ground covered in a patchwork of vibrant colours. The feast is laid out, the ale is poured, and the villagers look oblivious to the impending drama, revel in the celebration. In the midst of the celebrations, under the astute guidance of Duke Eberhard, Sir Norwood and Sir Chadwick, the villagers lay a cunning trap. As the darkness thickens, the bandits, enticed by the allure of effortless plunder, decide to strike. Unaware, they ride directly into the set trap. As the bandits make their ploy, the trap is sprung swiftly. A concise but fierce clash ensues. With their backs together, villagers and the knights fight off the bandits. They capture the bandits using their quick wits and bravery, creating a spectacular display of strategy and valor. And just like that, the fall harvest celebration in Tybrook transforms from a simple village festival to a tale of...
What happens when winter ends in the dukedoms of Glenurland? As the seasons shift, the frosty blanket retreats, revealing the verdant beauty of the land. It's not only nature that stirs from its slumber.
How does a seemingly small town become an impregnable fortress? And can the courage of ordinary townsfolk, trained and led by two determined knights and their duke, defeat a marauder band that has been wreaking havoc for over 5 years? This is a tale of strategy, bravery, and unwavering resolve. Our story begins in the quaint town of Tybrook, nestled in the heart of Freyland. Sir Norwood and Sir Chadwick, trusted deputies of Duke Eberhard, tasked with a mission that seemed insurmountable. The bandits who roamed the mountains bordering the Black Dragon's lair, who had been terrorizing and raiding the neighboring dukedoms for half a decade, now with the Black Dragon gone and a young duke ruling, they set their eyes on Tybrook. But Sir Norwood and Sir Chadwick were men of strategy and foresight. Sir Norwood took to training the townsfolk, turning bakers into archers, blacksmiths into foot soldiers, and ordinary people into a formidable force. Meanwhile, Sir Chadwick, with his keen eye for defence, transformed the town's landscape. Short walls sprang up, serving as skirmish lines and animal enclosures, while the towering storage building at the town's centre became a lookout post. The townsfolk, once fearful and uncertain, found their courage under the leadership of these two men. The bandits, expecting an easy victory, found themselves facing an unexpected resistance. The battle was fierce, but the townsfolk, with their newfound skill and determination, held their ground. The marauders, underestimating their adversaries, met their defeat. Such was the scale of this victory that the news spread beyond the boundaries of Freyland. It travelled into the neighbouring dukedoms, where it was received with relief and celebration, especially by the Duke of Richmond, who had been at the mercy of the marauding bandits for 5 long years. The news of the defeat continued its journey until it reached Newcastle, the capital of Geirland. And to the ears of the aging King Baldur, the bold, who received this message with pride in his heart for Duke Eberhard, his grandson. So, after hearing of the town's victory, King Baldur himself journeys to Tybrook. He is left utterly impressed by the training of the townsfolk under the expert tutelage of Sir Norwood, the defensive fortifications designed by the adept Sir Chadwick, and the collective mettle of the people. As a reward, the king gave to each family 1 gold ruckmar equal to a year's wage for the farmers of Geirland, and the king and duke signed a character granting Tybrook city status. This victory not only ensured the safety of Tybrook, but also shone as a beacon of hope for neighbouring dukedoms, serving as living proof that unity, strategy and bravery can best even the most formidable of adversaries. The royal visit by King Baldur further solidified Tybrook's status as a symbol of resilience and strategic brilliance.
What happens when winter ends in the dukedoms of Glenurland? As the seasons shift, the frosty blanket retreats, revealing the verdant beauty of the land. It's not only nature that stirs from its slumber, but also the men who are duty-bound to protect it. In the great hall of Hessen Castle, a crucial discussion is underway. Duke Eberhard, Sir Norwood and Sir Chadwick are poring over a map of the dukedoms, marking points of strategic importance. The Duke, a figure of authority and wisdom, breaks the silence. I agree. These are the best places for troop placement to control our border from hostile forces. How soon can you begin to build these outposts? Sir Chadwick, a man of action, responds with a firm resolve. I will start here next week, he says, his finger indicating a spot on the map. His eyes follow a path leading to the last outpost, and we will complete the last one there within 12 weeks. The words hang in the air, marking the enormity of the task at hand. Sir Norwood, a man of discipline, realizes the urgency. 12 weeks, he exclaims, acknowledging the pressing timeline. Then I and my officers have much work to do. His words echo the shared understanding that it's not just the construction of the outposts, but also the preparation of the men who will guard them that holds paramount importance. The outposts, once constructed, will not just be structures of wood and stone. They will become symbols of safety, of resilience, of the unyielding spirit of the people of Gin-Erland. And the troops, they won't just be men in armor. They will be the embodiment of duty and honor, the protectors of their homeland. Thus, as the winter ends, a new season of preparation begins in the dukedoms of Gin-Erland. The castle walls reverberate with plans of construction and training, every stone echoing the commitment of Duke Eberhard, Sir Norwood, and Sir Chadwick. They know that the true strength of a kingdom lies not just in its fortifications, but also in the hearts of its men. So, as the snow melts and the flowers bloom, the men of Gin-Erland ready themselves for the task ahead. The building of outposts and the training of troops become their springtime rhythm. As Sir Chadwick directed the building to maximize the terrain for defending mountain passes and open land alike, each outpost location having its own challenges to overcome, while Sir Norwood gave instructions to the men he handpicked and trained to be officers in Freyland's army. However, with the raising of an army and the building of defenses comes a cost both in food and gold. Unlike Tybrook and the villages in the Western District, whose work was for their own defense and was done willingly, these builders and soldiers are here for gold and food allotments. The question for Duke Eberhard is, where will the funds come from? For he knows, when the next winter comes, they will stand, not just as men, but as the unyielding shield of not Freyland alone, but of Gaiheland's northeastern borderland.
Imagine, if you will, being suddenly made a duke at the tender age of 16. What would your first course of action be? For Eberhard, the Silver Lynx Knight, the answer was clear. Bring peace and prosperity to his new territory. But how did he come to possess such a title at such a young age? The tale begins 5 years ago when Eberhard led the Garaland's forces in a fierce battle against the menacing Black Dragon's knights. Their victory marked the end of a dark shadow that had loomed over the land for far too long. The spoils of this victory, the title of Duke and the dominion over the Black Dragon's lair. The enthusiastic Eberhard, now Duke, wasted no time in making his mark. He renamed his new dukedom Freyland, setting the stage for a new era. By his side, two courageous knights, Sir Chadwick and Sir Norwood, stood ready to assist in his noble cause. Together, they ushered in an era of peace and prosperity, transforming Freyland from a dragon's lair into a haven of tranquility. Their efforts did not stop at Freyland's borders. The trio also took on the responsibility of guarding the northeast border of Gaiheland, ensuring the safety and security of their neighboring land. In a short span of time, Eberhard and his companions became symbols of hope and guardians of peace. Yet, as Eberhard was settling into his role as Duke, a message arrived, one that would change the course of his life once more. The message was from none other than his father, Prince Hinrik, summoning him to Newcastle. The summons was unexpected, and more so, it was Eberhard's first time back since he had left on that fateful day to claim his dukedom. The journey to Newcastle was long and arduous, fraught with uncertainty and trepidation. Putting the control of Freyland in the hands of his two deputies, freed his mind for the journey, and why had his father summoned him? What awaited him at Newcastle? Would this journey change his life as dramatically as the battle that had made him a duke? As Eberhard set off on his journey, these questions filled his mind. Will this be a new chapter in his life, or the beginning of an unforeseen challenge? Only time will tell. As the sun dipped below the horizon,
Painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold, Eberhard finally arrived at Newcastle. The city was buzzing with an energy that was almost palpable, a vibrant celebration in full swing. As he approached the imposing castle gate, the guards recognized him immediately, allowing him to pass with a respectful nod. A servant was quick to take Eberhard's horse, while another greeted him with a humble bow, leading him through the grandeur of the castle's interior. The opulence was a stark contrast to the harsh realities of his dukedom, but Eberhard was no stranger to such grandiosity. He was led to a room where his father, Prince Heinrich, awaited. The room was filled with an air of anticipation, the tension thick enough to be cut with a knife. Eberhard took a deep breath, preparing himself for whatever lay ahead. To his surprise, the news was not of war or conflict, but of change. His aged grandfather, the king, had decided to step down from the throne, bestowing the kingdom onto his father, Prince Heinrich. The coronation was to be held on the weekend, a grand event that would see Prince Heinrich crowned as the new king. This revelation meant that Eberhard was no longer just a duke, but was now the crown prince of Ireland. The sudden shift in his status was staggering, but Eberhard held his composure. He had faced battles and claimed a dukedom. He was ready for this new challenge. The journey to Newcastle had indeed changed his life, opening a new chapter that was yet to be written.
The bell, anticipation mounting. The royal family stood before the assembly, their regal attire dignifying the occasion. With the ceremony in full swing, the moment everyone had been waiting for was drawing near. And then the moment arrived. Prince Heinrich stood before his people, ready to accept the mantle of kingship. The air was thick with anticipation as all eyes turned to the prince, a figure of wisdom and justice, loved by his people for his fair judgments. The crowning was not marred by the usual solemnity of a king's death, but was a joyous celebration, a transition of power from a father to a son, both alive and well. The old king, Baldur, a remarkable figure of longevity and leadership, held the crown aloft, and places it upon Heinrich's head as beside him stood Louisa, her eyes filled with pride and joy. As the queen's crown was gently placed on her head, the cheers grew louder. The people of Ireland welcomed their new queen with open arms, their voices echoing through the streets of Newcastle. Queen Louisa, a beacon of grace and strength, ready to rule by her husband's side. Now King Heinrich called forth his son, Duke Eberhard. Silence descended. The young duke, just 21, moved towards the throne. King Heinrich held aloft a second crown, its design shimmering. As the crown rested on Eberhard's head, Heinrich declared, "I name you Eberhard, Prince of the realm, heir to my throne." Dukes and knights watched on. The crowning was a pledge of continuity, the king's commitment to his kingdom's welfare. Future of Ireland felt secure. Eberhard, known as the Knight Silver Lynx, had proven himself in combat. With the crowning of Prince Eberhard, it was time for the new king and his family to meet their subjects. The castle doors creaked open. King Heinrich, his family, and the crowd in Newcastle's courtyard radiated joy. Applause rang out. The king, adored by all, was greeted with respect, while his predecessor and son also shared the spotlight. The air was filled with anticipation and hope for Heinrich's reign. Ireland streets buzzed with cheerfulness. The royals greeted their people, reflecting their enthusiasm. As the celebration continued, the new king, his father, and his son prepared for their first official duty, meeting with the dukes of the realm. With the festivities still in full swing, King Heinrich, his father, and Prince Eberhard retreated to meet with the dukes of Ireland. The purpose? To Heinrich's rise and his readiness to lead justly, he was stepping into a legacy of wisdom embraced in his title, the Wise. And so a day of celebration and transition ended, marking the beginning of King Heinrich's reign, a reign that to be as wise and just as the man himself.
In the grandeur of Newcastle's great hall, a tale of intrigue and duty unfolds. Here, beneath the vaulted ceiling and amongst the tapestries of battles long past, we find the youthful crowned Prince Eberhard, a man of wit, charm, and a keen sense of history. Across from him, King Heinrich, his father, a ruler as stern as the stone walls of the castle itself. King Heinrich's voice echoes through the hall. "Eberhard, my son, your knowledge of our past and keen ability to strategize has served us well. I have a task for you, one of great importance. With a respectful nod, Prince Eberhard responds, I am at your service, father. Whatever the task, I shall see it done. The messenger steps forth, his boots echoing on the cold stone floor. He bows low before the prince, holding high a parchment sealed with the royal insignia. A message from our allies in the north, King Hinrich announces, his voice heavy with anticipation. As the seal cracks open, the parchment reveals its secrets to Eberhard. His eyes scan the document, his brow furrows, and his lips press into a thin line. The room grows quiet, the only sound being the crackling of the fire in the hearth. With a deep breath, Eberhard looks up from the parchment, his gaze meeting his father's. This is a task unlike any other, he says, his voice steady. A task that could change the course of our history. King Hinrich nods, a ghost of a smile on his face. Indeed, Eberhard, he says, our future lies in your hands. As the prince rolls the parchment, he rises from his chair, determination etched on his face. I will not fail you, father. I will not fail Gieland, he declares, his voice echoing through the hall. And so, with the weight of the kingdom on his shoulders, Prince Eberhard mounts his steed and embarks on his journey to Freyland and his home, Hessen-Kassel, to prepare for his assignment. But what lies ahead? What challenges will he face? And can he change the course of history?
In the heart of the kingdom of Gierland, a tale of valor and transformation unfurls. 21 years ago, on a day much like this one, a prince was born. His name, Eberhard, now echoes throughout the realm. His father, King Hinrich, crowned him in the grandeur of Newcastle, the pulsating heart of Gierland. Yet the tale of Prince Eberhard begins far from determination. He faced the Black Dragon. Of determination he faced the Black Dragon, a creature of nightmare, a symbol of oppression. The battle was fierce, the stakes high, yet Eberhard emerged victorious, liberating the land and its people from the dragon's tyranny. In the years that followed, Eberhard, now the Duke of Freyland, devoted himself to the land he had rescued. The dragon's lair transformed into a thriving dukedom, a beacon of hope and prosperity. Eberhard's bravery and leadership breathed life back into the land, earning him the unwavering loyalty of its people. And now the narrative brings us to the present day. Crowned a prince by his father, Eberhard returns to the land he once saved. As he approaches the gates of Hessen-Kassel, the air is alive with jubilation. He thinks back to how different it was just 5 years ago when he rode through this gate, with just 2 knights greeted by silence, but now the people, his people, are in full celebration of their duke's rise to the prince of the realm. As he enters Hessen-Kassel, a smile touches Eberhard's face. His heart fills with warmth, reflecting the love he feels for this place and its people. The cheers of the crowd, the joy in their eyes, are a testament to his journey, a journey of courage, transformation, and love. In the heart of Gierland, a prince stands tall, his tale echoing through the ages. His name Eberhard, now synonymous with valor and transformation. As he stands in Hessen-Kassel side by side with his 2 deputies and surrounded by the people he loves, he knows this is the beginning of a new course in his life. The journey of Prince Eberhard continues, the tale of his valor forever intertwined with the fate of Freyland. In the grandeur of the great hall and throughout the city of Hessen-Kassel, while the people celebrate their new prince, a sense of urgency pervades the room as the door to the library creaks open. Prince Eberhard, a figure of royalty and power, steps into the room, his cloak billowing behind him. In his company are 2 knights, Sir Norwood the younger, full of vigour and ambition, and Sir Chadwick the elder, whose wisdom is etched deeply into the lines on his face. The prince, poised and determined, withdraws a set of documents from his pouch, spreading them across the ebony table. His knights lean in, their eyes scanning the parchment. The silence is broken by the disbelief in Sir Norwood's voice. "This cannot be true," he exclaims. "I've never heard of anything like this." But Sir Chadwick, his eyes reflecting the flicker of a memory, adds, "When I was just a lad, an old man in my village would entertain us with such tales." Prince Eberhard, having listened to his knights, strides towards the bookshelf. He pulls out a large, dust-covered book. His fingers trace the pages until they rest on a brightly coloured page. "Yes," he murmurs, his voice echoing through the room. This is what I thought. The page belongs to an old volume, a history of the world. The revelation stirs the room. The prince looks at his knights, determination gleaming in his eyes. This may work, he states, but we must act fast. The knights nod in agreement, their faces set with resolve. The documents, it seems, reveal a forgotten piece of history, a secret that could change their world. The prince and his knights, now armed with this knowledge, prepare for the challenges that lie ahead. Their course of action: to delve deeper into the past, to unearth the truth, and to use it in a way that could shape their future. This is the beginning of their journey, a journey that will test their courage, their wisdom, and their loyalty. A journey that begins in the great hall of Hessen Castle, and could very well change the course of history. As they strategize and plan, the prince and his knights are united in their resolve, ready to face whatever comes their way.
In the heart of a world long past, a tale of courage and destiny unfolds. It is the tale of Prince Eberhard, his journey to the north, and the unforgettable meeting that would shape the future of kingdoms. In the realm of the known world, Prince Eberhard, armed with newfound knowledge, embarked on a journey that would take him across the rugged mountain passages and into the land of Frisica. Like a skilled falcon, he swiftly rode through the treacherous terrain, his unyielding resolve echoing with each hoofbeat. His destination: the formidable Castle Fini, a stone sentinel standing tall against the northern skies. As the imposing gates of Castle Fini swung open, King Finna, a figure of regal grandeur, waited, his heart pounding with anticipation. The sight of the prince ignited a spark of hope and fear in him. He couldn't help but cry out, his voice echoing in the vast courtyard. "Is it good or bad news you bring for our kingdoms?" The tension was palpable as they crossed the threshold of the great hall, the echoes of their footsteps mingling with the hushed whispers of the court. At the heart of the hall, Prince Eberhard, with an air of solemnity, reached into his pouch. Drawing forth the documents, he turned to King Finna and simply said, "See for yourself," as the king's ministers spread the documents out on the table. Before King Finna and they begin poring over the pages. As King Finna reads, his eyes begin to brighten. As King Finna's eyes scanned the documents, his face paled and then flushed. "An event is coming," echoed in the grand hall as Prince Eberhard broke the silence. The words hung heavy in the air, a bitter truth wrapped in the cloak of impending doom. The court gasped, their faces a mirror to the shock that swept over King Finna. The castle was silent, save for the rustling of the documents and the hushed whispers of the court. Slowly, Prince Eberhard started to speak again, this time his voice steady and filled with a glimmer of hope. "There is a way, King Finna." The room was filled with bated breaths, the court waiting, hoping, praying. Prince Eberhard they had a way, a chance to fight.
A kingdom on the brink of chaos, the kingdom of Frisica, steeped in rich history and tradition, teetering on the edge of a precipice created by a foreboding prophecy, a curse uttered by the priest of Thor, warning of a celestial event that would darken the sun and bring about an end to the kingdom. How will the people react to such a prophecy? Will fear guide them? Prince Eberhard of Gieheland, a young man of wisdom and curiosity, was given the assignment to respond. So in the Hessen Cassel library he began looking at treasure trove of historical documents. That detailed the history of the world, the movements of the sun, moon and stars. These documents held the truth behind the high priest's prophecy, a natural something shrouded in the mysticism of a curse. The revelation brought relief to King Finna and his nobles. The fear of the gods of the past, the dread of the curse, all seemed to dissipate in the light of this newfound knowledge, but a dilemma arose, required a delicate balance of truth and diplomacy. How would they relay this information to the people? How would they convince a kingdom steeped in tradition and belief not to fear a curse, but to understand a natural event? As the night and King Finna, Prince Eberhard, and the court officers deliberated, the royal court was abuzz with debate and discussion. The stakes were high, calming the people, Their fears without eroding their faith was a task that required finesse and wisdom. And so we find ourselves at a crossroads in the history of Frisica. A potential end looms, not through war or disaster, but through the interpretation of a celestial event. The actions of the royal court, their ability to navigate this crisis, will determine the fate of the kingdom. In the face of a prophecy, armed with knowledge and faced with the weight of tradition, the royal court stands at the helm of a historical juncture. Their decisions could either calm the tempest of fear or fan the flames of chaos. The consequences are far-reaching. Will they manage to steer the kingdoms into the dawn of a new era, or will they succumb to the fear of the past? The kingdom of Frisica and in turn Gihaland hang in the balance. The end is not yet written. The fate of these kingdoms lies in the hands of those who hold the knowledge, those who bear the burden of truth. As the sun sets and the moon rises, we wait for the dawn of a new day that will either bring resolution or end an era. For now, the night holds its breath, the kingdoms stand in anticipation, and the story of Frisica and Gihaland continues to unfold.
What can happen when faith and royalty clash in the heart of a kingdom? A drumbeat echoes, steady and rhythmic like a heartbeat in Frisica. At the center of the city square, a figure emerges from the dawn's light. Zadok, the high priest of Thor, his voice booming across the gathering crowd. "Thor has spoken to me," he proclaims, his words heavy with divine authority. "Where are my friends, my servants, my people? Have you forgotten me in your prosperity? Must I show my power once more?" His voice fades and the drumbeat slows. A moment of silence hangs in the air before a new voice breaks it. King Finna, ruler of Frisica, steps forward. His dukes offer their company, but he declines. "No, I must go alone," says his people. "Knowledge can be used to harmonize or to drown out the truth. The God you serve is a personal choice, but I believe you deserve the facts. To make a wise choice," his voice carries across the square, "you will witness an event that will not be seen again in our kingdom for another 100 years." As the sun reaches its zenith, a hush falls over Frisica. The drums fall silent as the sun slowly dims and a coolness rushes over the land. All eyes turn to their king and to Zadok. The stage is set for a clash of faiths, a test of loyalty and a revelation of truth. The king looks at High Priest Zadok. "What must we do to release our kingdom from Thor's curse? Sacrifice a bull? Make prayers? Or perhaps we should pay prayers in our behalf?" "My people," Zadok, High Priest of Thor, and his ministers, "are really only a group of traveling prisoners, entertainers, who happened upon knowledge of the event we are now seeing and were seeking to gain gold and silver from the unsuspecting. So, look up, this day in Frisica will be remembered for centuries to come." And so the story of Frisica, Zadok, and King Finna unfolds. Knowledge is power, and the choice every individual must make how to use the knowledge you possess. Prince Eberhard begins his journey back to his home, frail and happy that he was able to help a friend in his time of need. A tale that reminds us all that even in the heart of prosperity, the beat of faith and truth never ceases. As the moon and sun diverge, the sky brightens, and a warm breeze replaces the cooler air across Frisica. But the echoes of this day reverberate through the kingdom, a testament to the power of truth and the enduring heartbeat of its people.
In the realm of Gihaland, a land of many dukedoms, Prince Eberhard embarked on a journey, a tour wrapped in the cloak of incognito. His intention? To get an unvarnished view of the state of his people, the common folk, and the dukedoms they inhabit. His first destination, the prosperous dukedom of Richland. In the heart of Richland, tucked away in a quaint village, was a small pub. It was here that Prince Eberhard found his first opportunity to listen to the voices of his people. He took a seat in a dimly lit corner, a perfect spot to observe and overhear the conversations of the common people. The chatter in the pub was a symphony of voices, and Prince Eberhard lent an ear to the melody of their banter. He listened, absorbing their stories, their worries, their joys. The people of Richland seemed content, their lives full yet simple. Hard work was a constant, but so was satisfaction. When the topic of their Duke Richard and King Hinric arose, the villagers had little to say. Their comments were neutral, not of praise or condemnation, but of acceptance. "Our lives aren't easy, but we have no complaints of our Duke or King," was the common sentiment. As the night wore on and the ale flowed, Prince Eberhard continued his observations. He was pleased to find that the people of Richland were hardy and content, leading simple lives under the rule of Duke Richard and King Hinric. Prince Eberhard's incognito tour of the dukedoms was off to an enlightening start. The people of Richland, with their simple contentment and resilience, had given him a glimpse into the heart of the dukedom. They were satisfied with their lives, and while they acknowledged that their existence wasn't easy, they held no grudges against their leaders. In the end, Prince Eberhard had gathered invaluable insights from his time in Richland. His journey had just begun, and he looked forward to uncovering more truths about his kingdom. His incognito tour promised to be a journey of discovery, of understanding his people, and of learning how to better serve them. Through the voices of the common folk, he would learn the true state of the dukedoms.
The soft, silent embrace of dawn, Prince Eberhard stirs from his slumber, his bed a simple stack of straw, his room the vast expanse of the world. This royal adventurer, far from the opulence of his palace, begins another day on his quest, a heartfelt journey through his realm, Giherland. As the sun creeps over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, Eberhard sets his sights east, leaving behind the fertile plains of Richland. A wooded trail, a winding ribbon of dirt and stone, beckons him onward. The world awakens around him, birds filling the air. With their songs, the rustling leaves whispering tales of the day to come. The trail opens up to a clearing, a bustling hub of activity nestled in the heart of the forest. A woodcutter's camp. The rhythmic thud of axes and the humming drone of a water-driven saw fill the air, a symphony of hard work and resolve. Among the burly, weather-beaten workers, one man stands out, his well-tailored clothes a stark contrast against the backdrop of the rustic camp. Eberhard approaches his royal lineage forgotten in the simplicity of the moment. With a respectful bow, he poses a question to the man. "Are you in charge? Would you have work for a freeman passing through?" The days turn into weeks. Prince Eberhard, once a spectator, now immerses himself in the lives of his people. He shares their meals, their laughter, their stories. He becomes one of them, his hands bearing the same calluses, his heart echoing the same rhythm of life. After 2 weeks he bids his farewell, his pockets a little heavier with a fair wage, his heart a lot fuller with the experiences he shared. As he continues his journey, he reflects on his time at the camp, the camaraderie, the simplicity, the genuine contentment. He's richer now, not in gold or jewels, but in understanding of his people, of their lives, of their dreams. And as he travels on, Prince Eberhard carries a piece of the woodcutter's camp with him, a memory, a lesson, a testament to the power of shared experiences. His journey isn't just about exploring the kingdom, it's about understanding the people, about walking a mile in their shoes. And as the sun sets, painting the sky in hues of purple and red, Prince Eberhard looks forward to another dawn, another day, another experience. Because every day brings a new story, a new lesson, a new understanding. And he wouldn't have it any other way.
Have you ever wondered how a young prince, barely out of his teenage years, might navigate the complexities of ruling an entire kingdom? This is the story of Prince Eberhard, who embarked on a mission to learn the state of his father's kingdom, Giherland, and returned with wisdom beyond his years. In the early days of his journey, Prince Eberhard traveled the length and breadth of Giherland, visiting both the noble duke and the humble commoner. His mission was to understand the experiences of his subjects, to gauge the prosperity and challenges across the realm. From the verdant fields of the farming villages to the bustling squares of the market towns, Prince Eberhard witnessed the everyday lives of his people. After 6 months of observation and interaction, the prince returned to Newcastle, his findings in hand. His report was comprehensive, offering a unique perspective on the state of the kingdom. From areas of prosperity to those in need of improvement, Prince Eberhard had pondered deeply on potential solutions. His father, King Hinric, was pleased. The wisdom and foresight displayed by his son in his report were beyond his 20 years. The king, impressed by his son's findings, called in his court officers and officials to discuss the future prosperity of Giherland. His son's report would be the cornerstone of their plans. output. Yet, Prince Eberhard's journey was far from over. After a fortnight at Newcastle, the prince bid farewell to his parents and set off for his homeland, Freyland. The journey back was a stirring reminder of his past triumphs. The memories of defeating the Black Dragon Knights and gaining the trust of the people were still fresh in his mind. With the help of two loyal knights, Sir Norwood and Sir Chadwick, Prince Eberhard had transformed the dragon's lair into Freyland and the dragon castle into Hessen Castle. As he approached the once abandoned inn that now bustled with activity, people stopped, bowed, and cheered. The sight of their prince, his coat blazoned with the golden boar's head on a blue background, filled them with pride. The prince rode on, finally reaching his home, Hessen Castle. The sight of the castle, standing tall and proud, was a testament to his journey, his triumphs, and the prosperity he brought to his people. In summary, Prince Eberhard's journey was one of growth and learning. His dedication to understanding his kingdom and its people led to a comprehensive report that would shape the future of Geoland. His actions not only displayed his wisdom, but also